It's actually kind of weird how often I think about my younger self, not in some deep existential way, but just in a way of like, I'm still here. He's definitely still in there. I'm just older, more beat and more tired from the world and just adulthood. And like, to be honest, I don't think we ever really leave our younger selves behind. Like, everyone grows up and everyone goes through this adulting nonsense. But I don't know, man. For me, that 17-year-old version of myself really has lingered in me. For me, it kind of feels like he's always been watching in the back of my mind, like a little reminder of what I used to care about and who I actually am. And the more I think about it, the more I realize a lot of what I do now is kind of for him. In a kind of corny way, I'm trying to impress him. Like, back then, I was all in on all of my passions and I did whatever I wanted whenever I wanted. Like, I didn't care if what I was doing was making me money. I didn't care if what I was doing was impressing people. I didn't care about any of that. I just wanted to create and I just wanted to do the things that I like to do. And it's just so interesting because years later, a lot of the things I'm doing now, 17-year-old me would be so impressed with. You know, I've got a semi-successful YouTube channel, something that I tried so much when I was a kid. I've thrown events that like brought people together, and just seeing people experience memories that I've set up is a crazy feeling. Back when I made beats and produced songs and gave people a chance to express themselves, like, that's also sick. And my 17-year-old self would look up to someone like me and just be so impressed. And that's not something that I take lightly at all. And it's not necessarily because I've accomplished certain things or even made a career out of things that I enjoyed, such as video editing. But as corny as it is, I just didn't give up on the stuff that I loved, or I should say that we love. People love to act like growing up means leaving behind all that, kid stuff. But in my opinion, that's not really how it works. Like, that version of you from back then is almost your purest form of soul. I know it's like a crazy statement, but I truly believe it. And you carry that soul with you throughout your whole life. In turn, the things you obsessed over, the music that soundtracked your life, or the goals that felt too big, they all stuck around. Like, sure, my priorities shifted and life gets heaps heavier. But yeah, if you just dig really deep down, like, that younger self is still there. Or for me, at least. When I look at what I'm doing now, or how I dress now, or how I talk now, I see so much of him. I see the kid who spent hours editing COD montages because it was fun. He's definitely still here. Like, I now do video editing as a professional job, and I'm here doing YouTube videos on the side. And like, no, it's not like I'm living some crazy life that younger me would be absolutely gobsmacked by, but I'm just doing what I always wanted to do. I think a lot of us grow up chasing some version of success that's been sold to us. The big house, the beautiful family, the fancy car, the perfect relationship. But the older I get, it seems like success means, to me, more about just making the younger version of myself proud. Not because I owe him or anything, but because that kid from ages ago had pure love for what he did and didn't let any external pressures impact that. And it sucks, man. The society we're in today, a lot of people talk about proving themselves to others, whether that be teachers, bosses, or even parents. But I'm not even joking. The only person I'm trying to impress is just me, or more specifically, 17-year-old me. The version of myself that was so unfiltered with what he loved, what he wore, what he said. He wasn't worried about taxes, rent, or corporate ladders. He just wanted to create and experience life. And I sort of lost that feeling in my early 20s, but now that I'm growing older, I crave that feeling even more. Like, even every time I finish a YouTube video, I'm proud of myself. And I think about the fact that younger me would be happy with 50 views, let alone the fact I'm coming up to 40,000 subscribers. And again, it's really not about the external stuff. I'm not trying to show off to him at all, like, oh, look at the money I've made from video editing. Oh, look at the subscribers I have. It's more like I want him to see that I never sold out or gave up on the stuff that I enjoyed, and that I tried really hard to not let life strip away all the things that made us excited to wake up in the morning. But now with hindsight, I really do wish that I could talk to my younger self. Like, I really felt back then that I had to have it all figured out. I felt like every decision felt like it could ruin my future. I stressed about trying to impress my family or try to fit into a career path that I didn't even know I wanted to do. Younger me was always stressing whether they were wasting time on things that wouldn't pay off. And man, I just wish I could go back and tell him that it's definitely worth it. Even when I just chalk up my video editing, like, that's my job now. Like, I was never getting paid for video editing as a kid, and I would always think that I was wasting my time doing it. But now with hindsight, I did not waste a single minute of my time. And that whole idea of a perfect life path, it really doesn't exist. In my opinion, you just do what feels right, learn from the mistakes, and then keep moving. Life isn't some linear checklist, it's a mess of experiences, and most of the time, the things that feel like failures end up being the most important lessons. And damn, I wish younger me could see that. I'd tell him to totally chill out because he was stressing and he was anxious Little me was overthinking, feeling like time's running out, and realistically the life was just starting. And man, even dumb shit like tattoos. A lot of people grow up regretting tattoos they got when they were younger, but it's crazy because it's slightly opposite to me. I regret not getting tattooed when I was younger. I always thought I needed to wait until I was super sure about what I wanted to get. But the thing is, I really do love the same stuff. And even if I did end up changing my mind, the fact that I could carry a part of younger me into the future in a physical form is really beautiful. Like, I kind of wish I made my body feel like a museum of all the phases I went through. It's kind of crazy, but I really do be thinking that. Every piece, whether it was shit, cringy or corny, would tell some kind of story, or at least remind me about a certain phase of my life. And you know, something else I think about a lot is how we all move at different speeds. Some people peak early, some people peak later. But when you're 17, you really don't realize that. You think there's this invisible timeline, and that if you're not hitting the right milestones at the right time, you're falling behind. But there's a super cliche saying, and it's that life isn't a race. And it's so true. And usually what makes cliche sayings cliche is that they are true and they're very applicable to everyone. And it's funny now, but back then it was sad how much I used to compare myself to everyone, whether they were online or real life. Seeing people get these insane opportunities, whether it's career or relationships, made me feel like I was doing something wrong. But what I didn't realize back then is slow progress is still progress. And sometimes moving at your own pace is the best thing that can happen to you. At the end of the day, man, I'm not trying to prove anything to anyone else. The only person I'm really trying to impress is me, and in particular younger me. Even lately, man, I would consider myself a minimalist, but one of the only things that I collect and put money into is Xbox 360 games, because I love that shit, man. And you know who else loved that shit? Younger me. And man, I really do feel like we all have the younger version of ourselves watching from the sidelines. And even for instance, when I'm recording videos like this one, I will think about what 17-year-old me would say or would want to hear. Like, would he think that's cool? Or like, for instance, if I'm buying a t-shirt, I'm basing it off what younger me would have liked, because that is still me. And to be honest, the 17-year-old version of myself is probably the coolest version of me. And that's truly what keeps me going, man. No need for validation from someone else. Not chasing any numbers or views. Just that, you know, quiet little nod from the kid I used to be. Because as much as everyone loves to say you have to grow up and let go of your childish dreams, that's completely false, and I really don't buy that. The stuff you loved back then definitely still matters. And you loved it back then because you were your purest form of yourself. But you just might not have been brave enough back then. But you know, you're an adult now, so you definitely are brave enough to continue that. But yeah, man, in summary, everything I do for the 17-year-old version of myself. And I could go on this topic forever, man, but I'm gonna cut it here. I appreciate everyone watching this video, especially if you're this far into the video. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like, subscribe for more content like this. As always, all my links are down below, that being my clothing brand, which my 17-year-old self would love, all my Instagrams and all my streaming links. But yeah, man, that's it from me. It's been Once Faded. Peace.